So one of the things that the Institute is working on that I'm very excited to talk about today is a project called Mobility for Life. Lisa already mentioned that, how important mobility is to all of us. And in terms of doing research, what we've begun to understand, and let me just hit this button, is with the Mobility for Life project is designed to be a longitudinal prospective study so we can follow people for many years to understand how bone and joint diseases develop and ultimately how we can prevent their progression and if not, at least slow it down. We'd love to be able to find cures for these kinds of diseases. So the way to do that is we need to follow people for long periods of time. Bone and joint diseases don't happen overnight. They are things that develop over the course of years, if not decades. So part of this project is we're asking all of you and Albertans in general to participate in this project. So this is a great new opportunity where we can start to understand how bone and joint diseases may be related to our long-term mobility. For example, if you are a young person who has had a knee injury, say torn a ligament in your knee, there are great options for surgery to reconstruct your knee. However, despite that getting you back to your normal everyday function, which is very important, over the long term, you have a very high likelihood of developing knee osteoarthritis. And so we need to understand how these diseases develop over time, and to do that, we need to do long studies. So if you are interested in this kind of project, we are going to encourage you to express your interest. I'm going to show you a short video in a second that will give you some more information about the kind of project. So the kind of work that you would be doing as a research subject is you'd be answering some questionnaires, information about your health history, what you eat, the kind of exercises you do. You'll be maybe coming up to the mojo as Lisa was talking about, where we could do some x-rays or measure your body composition. We would be looking at your movement assessment, and we'd be doing these kinds of things not just once, but many times over the course of decades. So I'm going to show you a short clip here.
I was diagnosed with arthritis first in my right knee, and then it moved to my left, only in my right elbow. And then my wrists, all the bones of my fingers, bone in my foot, my ankles, and my eyes. The activities I enjoy doing the most would be dance. It kind of helps relax my joints. And I like doing different types of art, so drawing and painting. The worst part of having arthritis would probably be when I get those random pains in my ankles or in my knees.
In February of 2016, I had a right hip replacement, and during the recovery from the hip replacement, I began realizing how much pain that I was actually having in my knees while I was trying to exercise for rehab for my hip. So in February of this year, I had the left knee replaced, and May 2nd, I'm scheduled to have the right knee replaced as well. I'm being rebuilt one piece at a time. The things that I probably miss the most are cycling, hiking, then just everyday things that people take for granted, like getting down on the floor to play with my granddaughter.
We're about to embark on an exciting, ambitious endeavor called the Mobility for Life project. Because bone and joint diseases take decades to develop, we need to study people over a long period of time. The Mobility for Life project will encompass studies already ongoing in our institute, as well as new initiatives. We will be asking thousands of Albertans to join our project. We will ask people with and without bone and joint conditions to volunteer and participate in our studies that will provide invaluable information to help us prevent, or maybe one day even curing, bone and joint diseases. The information collected will fuel research in our institute and beyond for decades to come. The McCaig Institute at the University of Calgary is ideally positioned to do this work. We have integrated clinical and basic science, state-of-the-art facilities, expertise in imaging, biomarkers, stem cells, and a strong multidisciplinary environment. We are ready. It's an ambitious endeavor, but with your help, we can do it. Together, we will help Albertans enjoy mobility for life.
Mobility for balance.
Mobility for dancing.
Mobility for boxing.
Mobility for cycling.
Mobility for climbing.
Mobility for running.
Mobility for strength.
Mobility for life.
Great. Well, thank you very much. I'm always relieved when I see that video that I'm not wearing the same shirt. So I keep thinking I've got to check that someday. At any rate, what you'll find at your tables are cards that you can fill out. You fill out your name and your contact information. You don't have to do it at this moment, but the cards are there so that you can complete that information. And at the end of the session we have today, there will be people at each of these posters, the Mobility for Life posters that you see around the room, waiting to collect those cards. The cards, just so it's very clear, the cards are an expression of interest in participating. It's actually, you are not enrolling in the study when you do this. The enrollment will happen sometime in the new year. We're still working on some of the logistical details of this project, but we want at this point to get your expressions of interest. So when you hand in those cards, there will be people at the posters that you can talk to and ask questions. Oops, and I'm starting the video again. That's not what I wanted to do, but it's not going to make audio. And you can ask some questions, and you can learn more about the Mobility for Life project. So with that, I think I should pass this back to Lisa, who is ready to take us forward and somehow fix the video.